Welcome to Not Square Design. I'm Mark Farrar here in my studio where I use Chief Architect to create 3D models of new and existing building designs. Accurate existing conditions are extracted from LiDAR scans using Autodesk recap, and construction documents are generated using AutoCAD, using beauty out of complex environments. But it was turned off. Okay. So with this, what I've got is we're showing, and you can hear my fan going because when I render with a more realistic appearance such as we are now, you can see the lights, and we get a lot of ability. And what this picture is this to represent just a bunch of selection based on some of the owner's preferences of a whole bunch of lights that we could explore. And I just put them all in the garage so that they could see them and be able to select from them. And when we talk about things live and on the web, it's not just a static image like this, but I can actually go in and move in on the actual lights, and we can really explore them. I can move them apart so they're not all stuck together, and I could take one and move it across the room so that we could isolate it and go over and we can get a close look at different lighting objects and such. But if you notice that granularity, well, when I stop, now it's going to start rendering, and then I can actually get rid of the granularity altogether and get this view. But if I move the picture again, that's when it gets that granularity added to it. And so I use a different type of rendering to show people around, and that looks like this. Now it's not as real, but this is what you see on my website with a lot of videos, and you'll see that I can move around a lot smoother than I could the other way, and I can slow it down. But with this, we can really go in and explore the home, and I can take you through, and we can go into any room and see what's happening in each room. Now the doors are not open, but I can go into even a small area, and we'll show this in a different way. But like this closet, it's very tight, and so to try and figure out what's going on here and to maybe say, hey, look, we've got a double shelf and that sort of thing, it's so tight that it's really hard to tell what's going on. But I can open a different type of view. Now I'm on the second. Oh no, I'm on the first floor. And so with this, the roof is off of it, and we can get more of a look of what the whole place looks like. Now I've got all the lights turned on, which is just a matter of coming over and going to my layer properties, go down to electrical, and I can turn those off in this particular view, and then they go away, making it a lot cleaner view to see the rooms themselves. And so it's a nice way to kind of get a general overview of the house and how things are put together. And then in this house, we actually do have a basement. And so when you get down into the basement, you get kind of lost in here. There's a large room on one side, and then there's some other rooms down this other way, but it's really kind of hard to tell. This is the mechanical room, but it's kind of, I'm in the wall. It's hard to tell what's going on because the rooms are so tight. But if I just go back up and then I go down a floor, now I am actually can look at the basement, and we can see the full layout and be able to tell what was going on down in there. And I can explain things like, here's our our waterproof barrier on the outside. In this case, we're using a Nudura ICF, which is insulated concrete form. And then we have a furred-in wall, so we can do all the electrical and stuff on the walls inside the basement. Over here, this is all crawl space. And then this is the garage, which is just, of course, just dirt underneath it. So, but it's a good way to kind of get a view of how the house looks. And then if I fly up a little bit, then we can quickly go up, and I can say, let's go up a floor. And then this is the main level, which has a den, family, or living room, family room, kitchen, dining room, a mud room, a closet, a half bath, powder room. And then we can go up one more and we can see how this looks. And this is shows the master. And I've got the furnishings and stuff in it, so that as we get down in here, we can get a good look at what things look like and try and add some realism. You can see the glass on the, you can see the hinges there. Now it's not rendered, so the glass doesn't show up very good. But if I go to the rendered view, now we're looking at it without a roof on it, so I've got some weird casted shadows in here at the moment. And that's because the sun's coming through because we've taken the roof off. But we just have to go back to this view. And now I'm in the house, so I actually have to go up and I have to find, here's the master. So now we're in the actual space itself. And when I go back to this render view, now this is actually on the correct property with the correct sun angle, and then we can say, okay, at such and such day I want to see what the sun does as it crosses over this room. We could pick different seasons and see how the sun really goes across during a full day and get a shadow study. But you can see when I'm in this render mode, I get that granularity when I go into another room. And then if I come in here, I can hit this button here and it'll render it again. Now if you notice, it's sort of dark in here. Oh, looks like my lighting fixtures are gone. Oh, that's because I went into the settings and I had turned off the electrical. So I have to go back down to electrical, turn them on. That'll bring them back in. Close this off. And then our electrical fixtures should come back in here. Let's go here. They're not showing up. There. Well, that's awful strange. So what I can do is go to my floor plan and let's go up a level. And now we're in the floor plan itself. And as I zoom in here and I look around, I know that maybe this is an older plan and I don't have the electrical. But let's just take a look. Oh, I turned them off. Did the wrong thing. Electrical and electrical connections. I had actually turned them off instead of on. So we'll come here and we'll make sure that we have electrical and electrical connections. Electrical connections. They're still not showing. And so when I come down in here, I don't have any. So this must be a plan that didn't have the electrical for some reason. So I will have to go out and find one with the electrical in it, because we did get all the electrical done for this. In fact, I've got one with some really terrific with the outbuilding and all sorts of things going on. So, but for now, I just kind of wanted to show this so that you could see how the different views and such work. And then if we go down, let's just check, because yeah, you can see there's electrical on the first floor in this house. Not down in there. Then I can come through and let's go into, that's the living room, so kitchen's over here. Come back out and then let's hit this button to get it to render. Now when it renders, you'll see the lights aren't showing, but if I come in here, I click on my lights, and I tell it to light set, and then close that. Now they come on, and then I'll hit this button to get it to clear up, and there we have it. So you can see what it's going to look like with the lighting that we have. And then we can switch the time of day and go to a night shot. So I have to do that at some point to get an updated video, but for right now I'm trying to get just something up to help people quickly see how we do things. And but as far as when I'm showing you around in the house, we will be looking more at this view so that I can move smoothly and we can discuss the design. And like I can pick a cabinet, and when I picked a cabinet, we can even see the interior by opening the doors. And if we had any special types of slide outs or anything like that for cabinetry design, then it's just open and close doors. I can do the same sort of things, such as down here with drawers. And so there's the drawer popped out. I could do the drawer and the door, and you'll see it pop open so we can see the interior. If we had anything special going on here, then we'd be able to see what exactly we're doing, what finishes, if we're painting the inside, if we're doing natural woods, whatever we're doing to that. And that's got a bunch of line work on, but I can get rid of that. There we go. So just so you understand, when I choose cabinetry, I can hit both these buttons and change the way that it looks, then click, and we're back. And so now we are just touring around and seeing what this house looks like. And we can do things such as, let's say that we didn't like the fact that this is early on in the design, but we want to see, black railing, and we want to see what this looks like in steel. And we actually ended up doing a metal grate through this balcony upstairs in the final design. But for some reason it's being a little choppy and washed out. Kind of washed out. Oh, it's because this is on render still. So it's slowing my computer down. So if I come here, there we go. Now it'll run smooth. So now I can move around really nice. A lot smoother. It's pretty washed out looking. But let's see what things look like. We can actually come out and see what this is. That's not built right. And then even here, where we see how we go into this area to get down into this basement. And that wouldn't be concrete, obviously. But it's not done. I don't even have my terrain working right yet. But this is early on. So this is a semi-early stage in the development. But here even, we have the buried propane tank. So, exterior lighting. Then, when we get into our catalogs, so we have the core catalogs. We have architecture core catalog. We got appliances, dishwashers, hoods, laundry, ranges, small appliances. And this is just the core catalog example. Then we have backdrops, so I can change the different backdrops that we can use for the setting. And then we can actually use pictures from your lot. Exteriors, what do we got in here? Garage items. It's just, this is just to show you kind of what I'm talking about when I have this huge setup. And so these are all items, and when I click on them I get an example, and we can look at any one of these and zoom in on it and see what it is. If there's something in particular that we want to use, and it'd be more of this sort of stuff when we're looking at it'd be more of when we're looking at things like gas cooktops, and then you want to pick the style that we're using. Well, this is a very generic set, so this is the core catalog. We get into the bonus catalogs. There is so much stuff, and I mean, this is a huge thing of more and more and more, and that's just accessories. These are all accessories, just those. These are plants, moldings, all sorts of stuff to make it look more realistic, tack room stuff. Then we can get into lighting, antique, backyard stuff, and backdrops. Again, these are HDRI, so this actually has a sun in it. So they're quite a bit different because that sun generates light. It's just a different way of doing it. Bar stools, bathrooms, beds, cabinetry, get into all kinds of door styles, knob styles, hardware. These are challenges. That's part of just learning the software type deal. This is commercial stuff, corbels, country chic, country primitives, cubicles, craftsman, doors, just door hardware, doors themselves. And then when you start looking at these, there's just everything you can imagine. Literally the hardware for the door. I'm in E. We got A to Z here, and I'm in G now. Fireplaces, home, hobbies, essentials, spas, HVAC, kitchens, lighting. The lighting selection is immense. Every kind of light you can possibly think of. And so, we can look at these and you can tell me what you want to see, and I can spin them, and then you can kind of see what they look like. And then we can change the material. So we could turn this into a brass nickel. I don't have to leave it with this probably more of a oil rub bronze look, but we can change materials on any of these things. Man caves, MEP, so mechanical electrical plumbing, if you're not familiar with that. Um, and then there's some modern and retro stuff, mountain features, outdoor, tons of plants. We don't do much pools up here, but there's recreational stuff and Scandinavian storage, so we can get into some pretty neat storage. Now we haven't even touched. I'm getting down into some vehicles. I can put a semi truck in there, but we're getting down towards the end, and we haven't gotten to the last catalog. So we're in our last grouping, I should say. This is bonus. Here's manufacturer. So now this is different manufacturers. In fact, let's just let's pull this down so you can get a better view of what we're really talking about here. So there's that. And you could pause this video if you want to read some of these names. And I'm just kind of going through it because as I build this other piece to the puzzle, there's so much in here. It is really something I'll never get done. There's just no way for me to finish it. But we can look at these materials. I can pull this up. We can look at these, and I will show you what I'm building out for my clients. But it's going to take me a long time. So if there's things that you want, ask about it, and I'll see if I've either already got it or if we can find something that's very close to it. There is just so much stuff. It's just unbelievable how much stuff. So this is all just manufacturer. We were in a whole different system. Now, if I go to so this is the other section that this is what I'm building. So this is kind of a little thing about it, and you'll have access to this catalog. You can open on your own computer. And so as we go through things, I'll keep building and keep adding to this. And so right now, what you can do is you can come up here and you can search for things. And so we can search for countertop. So there's countertop information, materials, countertops, materials is here. There's just so much to look through. And so once you find some category, then you can go and dig in deeper. So what you usually see is like this architectural surfaces. I've got an example here. Then I go into the Metro Quartz, which is it's a name of a set of styles. Then there's the Pental Quartz. And in the Pental Quartz, I've expanded it out into the Classic Collection. So if you look here, you'll see there's a Classic Collection, and you can look through and say, hey, I kind of want to see what that one looks like. So the Garnet, and then you'd come into the Classic, and you'd scroll down to Garnet. Oh, it's not there. So I haven't gotten very far on this one. Now some of these I've gotten really far on. But if there's one that you want to see, I will create this so you can see what it looks like up closer. Now some of these I've gotten very far on. And there's just tons and tons and tons of these in here. And so I'm building this, but I have to actually open each one, take a picture, save it here, put the name in, and it takes me a while. So if there's something that you see and you want to see it up close like this, let me know. We can also just immediately change out your counter material into something. So there's metals, tiles. Oh, not on that one. But this is just a Now, when I get in, you saw the way it was organized in the Chief Architect software. So here it is here. And so there's accessible design, bathroom accessories, and so you can come into all this sort of stuff and see what's in here. So bathroom fixtures, and there's laundry and cleaning, style palettes. So the style palettes are something that it's like American casual style. So when I put a palette in, it'll change the floor, the windows, the doors, cabinets all at once. So if there's a style that kind of looks attractive out of these sets, I can change the whole room or the whole house or just the cabinets to match. If there's something in here that you see, I can do a quick change without doing the individual components by saying, let's kind of look at it with one of these pre-built sets. And this can be done in particular, and we can create your own style palette. And then it'll just be added onto this list. And so my list will grow into the different style palettes, and they'll be saved for future use on other projects. So I just give them creative names. So like a Mediterranean look, a prairie style, just different types of things to make the whole house. And then there's all sorts of lighting, ledge lighting and pendants and lights. And this is, if you go up to the main top ones, you'll see that it's big. And so you can really go through it. And if it doesn't fit on your screen, you can widen this out. You'll be in the web view, so sometimes you need to do that. And then you can just kind of look through, find one, the bump floor, and so that'd be, boy, hard to find. But as I go through these and keep building them out, so if I'm up here, electrical, let's say we had that, let's see if we can find it, and it was bump. There's bump floor. So if I come up here to this click, now you'll have to figure out how to do it in the web view, but you want to switch to this notebook, and then you type bump, and there it is. So that's saying that I haven't got it individualized yet, or there would be another one down here and you'd be able to click on it and it would take you to the bigger picture. So to show one that is working, so let's do shell. So if I were back in here and I did shell, then there's the pearl shell, shell lighting, and these must have the word shell in them somewhere. Here's the different collections. So one of these has the shell in it, I'm guessing. Or no, it's close. See, this is shell, but the SHE is hitting sheeting. Oh, no, it does have shell in here. There's pearl shell. So these, and then if you can't see it, you can expand these, make them bigger. Just come in and grab it and pull it larger if you want to get a little closer look. It gets a little pixelated, but that's why you want to tell me, hey, I want to see that one in my house, and we'll take it and put it in a room, and you get a look at it. Or I can even create it like this so that you can at least see it before you decide if you want it in your house. So this is all the bonus, the core. That's where I'm at with the core. The manufacturer, you can see I've got a long ways to go to build this out. But yeah, here's the cactus stone. So if you saw countertops up here, if you come down into this is where I've actually really seriously building it, is I'm trying to put it in the same organizational method that I use in Chief Architect, which is if I go up to the top here, I have my core, my bonus, and my manufacturer. Now when I make special stuff myself, that's what all this is. These are things I've made. But as far as core, bonus, that's what I'm doing right here. So you got the bonus, they're not in the same, because these alphabetize automatically. I can't move it. It just goes alphabetically. So there's the bonus, the core, and the manufacturer, which is manufacturer, bonus, core. Just a different order, but it's the same things. It's just not complete. This stock plan you'll have to worry about unless you are looking for a plan of a house. And I haven't gotten very far on this one either. I have literally thousands of house plans, and so I have very slowly started putting some of my plans that are from old style house. And if you expand this, then you can see the elevations. So if you're looking for house plans that are already done or partly done, there's lots of stuff in here. So, and some pretty fancy stuff too. But that's that will be shared out for you, the stock plan and what it's for and how to use it. It's called the stock plan because that's all I started it for, and then I decided to add this chief thing to it. And then there's products and services. Now, products and services, this is an archive, and so a lot of the stuff you'll find in this archive is you can click on these and it'll take you to different websites and stuff, so you can watch the video.
Your mother is not losing her memory because of age. It's a hidden process, quietly
built tight, ventilate right. We're back in my house under construction, and I've got a really fun episode for you. We're talking ventilation today. You know, whether you're...
So, those videos are all in through here, and if you look in them, this is a general email with some different types of subjects. So this is email links, and then there's just a ton of information. So this one's older, and what I'm working on is building this one out right now, which is newer stuff. So there's a ton of information in here on wall construction. Down here, this project planning, you're going to find a lot more current information. There's a glossary of terms, so if you come across any construction terms you're not sure what it is, there's an alphabetical list of all kinds of stuff in here. And then this one I haven't gotten. This is for commercial. I've done a lot in the common. I haven't done anything in the residential one yet or the commercial one, because the stuff I've done so far is for both residential or commercial. So I've got some tons of roof information started, and I give you the sources in case you want to go see where I'm getting my information. So it's not just information, it's the source. And then there's treatment types and products. Like, you can click on these blue ones. If they're blue, that's a link. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to their website or whatever the link is to. That's what those are for. So when you see these links, you can click on them, any of these. That'll take you to the Home Advisor article on siding, and so that's going to take you right there. How much does the siding cost? And it's the article that I used to get this information to help understand on the costs for synthetic composite treatments, exotic options, faux stone, stone and brick, metal siding, fiber cement, vinyl, wood, and then it's little bits about what's the benefit, pros and cons of these types of products. So building this information just for you guys to use, and hopefully you'll find it useful.